100% of Thief Simulator started with me at rock bottom, stealing toasters and random junks just to make a few bucks while drowning in debt to a psycho mafia. But the deeper I went, the crazier the jobs got. We robbed Christmas like the Grinch, broke into ridiculously fortified mansions, and started stealing jewelry worth more than my entire life. Every job was riskier, every house was harder to crack, and eventually it all led to one final moment. All 33 achievements were successfully achieved, so please enjoy. We get a call from Vinny, and he teaches us how to start breaking into houses by being quiet and sneaky. Once I make my way inside to snatch some simple things and make my escape. Drive over to our very cozy home, or, well, garage home. The next day, Vinny gives us a little tour showing things like buying tips on specific houses, tips on how to enter them and whatnot. So first I sell the stuff I found at the pawn shop, and then make my way to Greenview 109, with our main objective being to snag a TV. I also grab some other valuables along the way, load the TV in my trunk and drive home, earning a thief rating of S. Now this old TV isn't for the pawn shop, it's meant to be sold on Black Bay, where it sells for 3 times the price, so that's great. Then Vinny introduces us to Rent a Thug, where we can take on little extra objectives, like breaking dishes at the baker's house on 110. Once I do that, it's time to learn how to pick a lock, which honestly isn't all too difficult. But the difficulty was already ramping up a little, cause now we had to go to Greenview 111, and scout out the tenant's routine and then sleep in my car so I don't have to wait forever for them to leave. Once he leaves, we grab an important box for Vinny. After that, we break a window on 112 because, I don't know, Vinny seems to enjoy vandalism a lot. But then, it is back to basics, and I need to get my lock picking to level 2. These locks are getting tougher and actually require some timing. But yep, it's back to vandalism again. Now we have to break a toilet on 113. This was surprisingly difficult and required way more preparation than I ever expected. Seriously, all this nonsense just to vandalize a toilet? Come on, Vinny, you can do better than that. Anyway, things are moving along as we now need to learn how to climb vines like some kind of Spider-Man. But to get these climbing gloves, I need $1,200 and also have to unlock the Agility 2 skill. So I just start robbing houses on my own for a bit. That actually goes pretty well, and it only took like 3 runs to earn enough money. And to unlock Agility 2. And I of course bought the climbing gloves. Buying the climbing gloves, Vinny immediately wants me to break Greenview's 104's windshield, because, I don't know, Vinny just has requests like that. Now since I messed it up and got spotted, I decided to grab our first achievement. Nice throw, man, for breaking a window with a brick. After that, I basically run through the house, a ding-dong ditch strategy. Break the car window, then hide inside the house. Is this the intended way to do it? No clue, but it works, so I'm not complaining. Next up, we have to buy the mini electric lockpick. But yeah, we're cheapskates. So after getting my money up, and not my funny up, I was finally able to afford that mini electric lockpick. With it, I could either break the big TV over at 108 or steal it. And since this is Thief Simulator and not Vandalism Simulator, despite Vinny's best efforts, I of course tried to steal it. The electric lockpick is basically just a hold down left mouse button simulator, so we get that TV out successfully and earn the Too Much TV is Bad For You achievement for stealing 5 TVs. Next, I had to reach level 9 to unlock the appraisal level 2. Once I got it, I headed to house 107 and stole their jewelry. But you can't just sell jewelry directly, it has to be broken down first. So back at home, I buy the jewelry tools, pull every gem out of the necklace, and sell them for $800 each. After that, it was time to push my lockpicking skills to level 4. It only took 1 robbery to get there, but the safe cracking tools were sadly pretty expensive. So I went right back to robbing the good people of Greenview because we need money! You dumb fool! Along the way, I unlocked the wealth redistribution. Along the way, I unlocked the first wealth achievement for stealing $5,000 worth of items. After that, I finally bought the safe cracking tools, and wow, this mechanic is a pain. You have to wait until you hear the lock fall, and when it does, you are not allowed to move even 1 more number further. I mean, yes, that's how real safes work, but god damn is it's difficult. Then I learned you can rotate faster with left shift. Yeah, that helps a lot. Anyway, it looks like Greenview 102 had a document Vinny needs, and yeah, I'm already pretty confident it's locked inside a safe. The real problem was actually getting into the house. Without a glass knife, I just couldn't figure it out. And breaking a window, yeah, that was off the table. So it was time to gather another 2.5k to finally get my hands on a glass knife. This actually went pretty well, and along the way I upgraded my backpack capacity by 50%, and after all that grinding, I finally had enough money to buy that glass knife. With the glass knife, 102 was a breeze! I was even grabbing some insanely good valuables while the tenants were still there. But when they left, and I wanted to escape, they had locked the house down completely. No way out. The only option would have been using the hacking PDA to open the security panel. Don't got that thing. Luckily though, I found their front door key, so yeah, they were absolutely cooked while I ransacked the entire place. Finished the robbery with an S rank, jumped up 3 levels and made a ridiculously amount of money. I could have even made more if I wiped the electronics too. Since we had also unlocked a new street, I first marked the camera location for Vinny at 101, then had to steal a tablet from the house. That part was pretty easy. All I had to do was just turn off the power to disable the camera. Slipped inside and my god, this house had millions in valuables. I'm talking like 6K from this place alone. One minor problem though. I am a greedy idiot and I kept going and eventually messed it up. Well, kind of. I hid from the cops long enough that the coast became clear. At least from the cops, because the tenant had a taser. Are we serious? Anyway, second time's a charm. This one went better, though it could have gone much worse. I unlocked our second wealth achievement for stealing $20,000 worth of items, and then I grabbed the electronic skill. Bought the hacking tools with all that sweet moolah, wiped some tablets, finished Vinny's mission, and now had to sell some car parts for him. One problem, I needed another skill point, so I went from 4.3k to 10k by just selling the jewelry and the phones I had found. Then it was time to quickly level up so I could unlock the car theft skill. And wow, leveling up had suddenly become way slower, my god. Once I finally got it, I headed to 104 to steal a Bolthorn 86 Classic. A really nice green truck, except I was missing a car lockpick gun, so back home I went to buy one for 8 grand. Then I returned, opened the garage, hotwired the car, and drove straight out of there. That robbery earned me the Car Enthusiast 1 achievement and also Sneaky Sneak for getting 10 S-rank thefts without being seen. I am quite the professional criminal. Oh, you don't have to tell me. Then Vinny dropped off a package that I had to place in 204's drawer, which was located in the new neighborhood, Richie R. Street. So I drove my ass to Richie R. Street. This absolute nightmare of a place had cops shooting through closets. Yeah, don't ask me how. Anyway, the job itself was done pretty quickly. While ransacking the place, I also unlocked the Who Needs Dishes achievement for breaking 10 total dishes. But of course, Vinny wasn't done. Now he wanted to teach us the hacking program, which is pretty cool. You'll see why. So off I went again, doing some good old robbery bobbing for those skill points. This time I tried robbing 201. It was far from smooth sailing, but once I finished it, I unlocked the Art Connoisseur achievement for stealing 10 paintings and then got the Electronics Level 2 skill. That also taught me how to disable a home alarm. Basically, you just cut all the wires coming from the big battery on the left. Pretty simple. I also bought a micro camera and had to plant one in the living room of 206. Why? Well, Vinny said don't ask. So of course we didn't, because we're his good boy. But every window was locked down, so the only way inside was with a hacking PDA. Which meant going back home again, and of course we were 3k short. So it was time for more thieving. And that went pretty smoothly until, shockingly, I messed it up again. Quickly broke a toilet though, unlocking the Plumbing Expert achievement for breaking 10 toilets. Eventually though, voila! That hacking PDA was ours, and I also bought some night vision goggles. Now it was finally time to plant that micro camera in 206 living room. Then my dumbass realized I wasn't recording, so I took a nap and had to go back later to retrieve the camera. Just great, really phenomenal. Vinny better have some insane stuff on that goddamn recording. After that, we learned how to disable car alarms, letting us steal higher tier vehicles. But first I needed another skill point, so it was back to stealing, robbing, and pirating. Whatever gets the job done. Leveling up took about 40 minutes, but eventually we unlocked the ability to disable car alarms. So next up, we had to steal another car at 201, the Bolthorn Family MKV. This one didn't go flawlessly either, but we got it done and unlocked the Car Enthusiast 3 achievement. Apparently we're just skipping the Car Enthusiast 2 achievement and figuring that one out ourselves. After that though, I needed agility level 4 to learn how to climb pipes. Of course, I didn't have that amount, so I went back to Greenview hoping to steal some cars. Except, there were no cars in the other 2 garages. So that's fantastic. But eventually, agility 4 was ours. Now we needed to learn how to steal level 3 cars, which required 2 skill points that I didn't have. So, oh boy, isn't this exciting? No, that isn't sarcasm. It genuinely was exciting. Because at Greenview 101, the easiest house for valuables actually had that damn Asian Cougar. So I drove off with it and unlocked the Car Enthusiast 2 achievement. Sadly though, it still wasn't enough XP for the next skill point. So I had to grind a bit more. Once I finally got it, I was lucky enough to barely afford the car key signal cloner. The exact item we needed to head over to Mr. Torres at 205 and clone his car key. The problem is brother has cameras at the front door and a personal security guard. And once you're inside the house, there are cameras everywhere. On top of that, getting his keycard is an absolute nightmare of a task. It was such a mess that the game even broke for me. I literally glitched into his little storage racks. Anyway, after multiple attempts, I finally pulled it off. Unlocked both the Car Enthusiast 4 achievement and the Wealth 3 achievement for stealing 50k. Next, I had to steal a painting from 202, and surprise, it was another load of nonsense. Cameras everywhere, and a guard who literally patrols the exact painting we need. God damn it, wow, this one was tough. But when I finally managed to grab it after taking a huge detour around the house, my car blocked traffic, and the guards made it physically impossible to escape. This was the first mission in the game that actually got on my nerves. But hey, eventually, we pulled it off. Like, I was made for it. I sold the painting on Black Bay, and then Vinny mentioned something huge. The last job. Yeah, you're hearing me right. The final main job from Vinny himself. All we had to do was reach level 27 and unlock the electronics level 3, which costs a whopping 4 skill points. So yeah, I started grinding, robbing house after house. Along the way, I unlocked the All Toasters Toast achievement for stealing 10 toasters. After that, I tried robbing the most expensive house again, getting out with as much money as possible. That gave me another level and nearly a second one. So I headed to Sun Valley Street for the first time, hoping to find thousands worth of valuables. So what I basically did was run into a barn, stole a bunch of stuff, and run out. Honestly, the loot was really good. Plus, I unlocked the electronics level 4. But the real problem was the next two I needed, the hacking laptop, which costs 56,000. Yeah, the grind was far from over. And I wasn't kidding when I said it was slow. Making money at this point was painfully slow. I mean, 56k is insane. So I focused on side contracts in Sun Valley, since they were the most profitable things I could do. One point, I even spent 25 minutes dismantling an entire car just to earn about 7k, including the value of the car itself. That put me at 49k. That's close, but still not enough. So back to Sun Valley I went to finish the portable generator contract. Fuck this contract. Because when I finally stole it, it didn't count because I forgot to put it in the trunk of my car. I just ran out with it and that doesn't count. So that's just great. Then the security guards somehow decided to stack on top of each other. I mean, I'm not complaining about a little double trouble here. After all that nonsense, one really good robbery finally paid off. I made a ton of money and could finally afford the hacking laptop. Vinny then told me this would truly be the final job, and after that, we'd be free from his tasks, from the mafia debt. The target was 208, the most fortified house in the entire game. The security there is ridiculous. Getting inside was already stupidly difficult, because even cutting glass sets off the alarm, meaning the stealthiest option isn't even an option. After about 25 minutes of trying, I still couldn't finish it. Want to know why? Because apparently the replica item is hidden behind this stupid shit. And you have to throw it acrobat style onto the roof since you can't climb while holding it. After dealing with all that cops nonsense, the game just rewards you with a cheap little cutscene and tells you to get out with the final item. The whole mission took me way longer than it ever should have, but once I sold the item, we still weren't done. Now, I had to buy a hideout, which costs $30,000. So I went back to robbing houses on Richie R Street. 1, because they pay well, and 2, because they contain those egg replicas. I needed 5 for another achievement. While doing that grind, I also unlocked the Well 4 achievement for stealing $100,000 worth of items. Eventually, that money paid for the hideout. Vinny told me he had left a little bonus back at our house, so I went to check it out, as we are now a debt-free man. Well, let's see what this package is. Whoa, Jesus Christ! It was an explosive! Vinny blew up our house! I unlocked the debt-free man achievement, and now there's just a picture of Vinny sitting on my corkboard. Looks like we've got a score to settle with that man. The story continues, but I first wanted the final car enthusiast achievement for stealing the Karuba GTS. So I headed back to 207. This one honestly wasn't that hard. It could have been smoother, but hey, it worked. That robbery unlocked both the Crazy About Cars achievement and Car Enthusiast 5, making this the last car theft achievement in the game. That doesn't mean it's the last vehicle achievement. After that, I went back to Easter egg hunting with 2 of them hidden in the same location, and yes, that location is 208. The magical place full of absolute nonsense. Surprisingly though, grabbing those 2 eggs wasn't too bad. The final egg was over at 207, just sitting on a little kitchen counter. That unlocked a pretty rare egg hunter achievement for finding all 5 eggs, which also rewarded me with an extra 10k on Black Bag. Next, I had to continue the contracts at the farm, because without them I couldn't unlock the round lockpick, which I needed for the last 2 vehicle achievements, so yeah, no choice but to grind it out. First, I finally escaped with that goddamn generator by jumping onto my car roof for an easy way in. Instead of leaving the normal way, I just threw the generator over the fence, climbed over myself, and dashed before the cops arrived. When you put it like that, it really wasn't that hard. But we were far from done. Next, I had to steal a box of farm invoices from 402. The problem was that I had become a familiar face in the town. Just driving in would already trigger the cops. Eventually, I managed to lose them by hiding, steal the invoice box, and drive away safely. Not on the first try though, this took several attempts. And of course, the jobs just kept coming. Now I had to steal special seeds from 403, which was surprisingly easy and only took about 10 minutes. And after that was custom fertilizer I needed, which thankfully also went smoother than expected. Once all those were done, I could finally buy that damn round lockpick, which was just basically a harder version of the original lockpick. And you know what I realized then? I didn't even need this fucking lockpick for the achievements. I did this for shits and giggles, so that was basically 6k wasted, but at least I had a contract for it, so maybe finishing it would be worth it. Next task, steal the red tractor. Fine, let's do that. Which then led to stealing a black tractor. Oh, yeah, that's great. Let me steal like the entire farm at this point. I was really wondering if these jobs would ever end, especially since they were barely paid anything. But after finishing the contract, I got a grand total of $5,000. Honestly, I was about ready to check Rent a Hitman to see which one should fucking snipe me while I'm in a goddamn office building. Just kidding, I wouldn't do that, maybe. What I actually did was continue the main story and stepped into the industrial neighborhood for the very first time. I went back to buy the binoculars first though, used them to mark the control panel, hacked it with my hacking laptop and got inside. Of course, I ran into trouble, but nothing too serious. Soon enough, the stolen hard drive was mine. I hacked it back at the hideout and finally got our first piece of evidence against Vinny. The next piece was his account details locked inside a safe over at 301, and let me tell you, this part was not fun. I had to hack every single door in my way. Of course, I also got greedy and stole the extra valuables, which led to getting caught in the most ridiculous situations imaginable. But at least during all that chaos, I unlocked the console gamer achievement. Oh, what else do we need? Well, we needed keycards, which meant heading to 302, and I didn't even know how to describe this section, other than saying it's the hardest and most tedious thing the game threw at me. Every few seconds, there is another puzzle lock, and around every corner, there's a guard ready to tase you. It was genuinely exhausting, and easily the most frustrating part of this entire run. But despite all the rage, I didn't quit. And eventually, I grabbed that keycard. And after playing for such a stupidly long time, I ended up unlocking Electronics 4 and 5 back to back. And I also got the Appraisal Level 4, completing the entire skill tree, which somehow doesn't even give me an achievement. So with the keycard, I headed to 303's top floor and hacked the server. After that, I somehow still had to escape unseen while carrying valuables worth thousands, and of course it didn't go smoothly. If it had, it actually could have been fun. And apparently that's illegal when you're trying to 100% this game. Right, I'm calming down. I eventually finished the job, sold a ton of valuables on Black Bay, and made a huge amount of money. And then I hung up the vinyl evidence pieces on the boards and moved on to the next objective, stealing explosives. Which meant going back to 302, so you could probably imagine my reaction. Surprisingly though, this one was a lot easier. It still took a little while, but I got the explosives and actually walked away with a pretty big smile on my face. Big smile means big happiness. It was time to steal a detonator at 301. The quests just kept rolling in, but honestly, I wasn't complaining too much. Whenever I reached these locations, I made sure to grab as many valuables as possible to build up my money. Though that wasn't really the case at 301, getting to that cargo box was ridiculously annoying. And once I finally grabbed the detonator, I got out of there immediately. Trust me, I was out of there, one and done. I combined the bomb with the detonator and now needed to buy the advanced laptop. Luckily, I already had enough money for it. All that was left now was planting the bomb at 304. The Hacking Laptop Pro works exactly like the normal hacking laptop, except now it has double the range, meaning you can open up most facilities from outside. Of course, buildings that require it are also heavily guarded, which means a lot of trial and error. But when I finally planted the bomb, the game surprised me with a second location! So things quickly went from annoying to needing a little pacifier to deal with the frustration. But once I pulled off the office section, which thankfully was a quick one and done, I jumped over the massive wall, ran toward the demolition zone, and blew up the Lombardi house in style. And just like that, the credits rolled in Thief Simulator. As someone who was pretty new to the game, I've got to say it was a fun one. Well, at least the main story, because we still had 12 achievements left, and they're not easy achievements, let me tell you that. So first up was an achievement I should have gone a long time ago. Fresh air for breaking 10 windows. The catch is that it has to be done with a crowbar, and professional thieves like me usually don't make that kind of noise. After that, I went for the forking workflow achievement, which required using a forklift, so it was back to 305. With my Hacking Laptop Pro in hand, about 8 times, because yeah, you know the drill by now, the usual chaos. This was a hard one. I eventually got it done and unlocked the forking workflow. Next up, skid mark, also at 305. Now some boring people would say you should do this stealthily without setting off alarms, but real pros like me just sprint through the place, trigger every alarm possible, and barely escape with a ramp. And hey, it worked, so I got the skid mark achievement in less than 5 minutes. Now I had to steal 5 yellow construction boxes. Also at 305. At this point, that place basically felt like my birthplace. So finding and stealing those little boxes was actually extremely easy. So that was a quick well-quit achievement. But now I had to repeat the same thing with VHS tapes over at 300. Of course, there was a little police incident along the way. I even managed to get tased at one point. Oh, wow! That never happened before. But on my third try, with a small little slip-up near the end, I escaped successfully. Sold the 5 VHS tapes on Black Bay, And got nothing? Oh no, please tell me, don't tell me. It's okay, no. It's fine. Achievement popped the moment I walked onto the street. Next up was something a bit more interesting. I had to change my PC's date and time to October and boot up Thief Simulator to access the Halloween event, because 3 achievements are tied to it. First task, collect 8 candy bags around Greenview. The checklist locations were 102, 103, 104, 105, 107, 108, 112, and 113. This... well, actually, it was pretty fun, since it took place in Greenview instead of the maximum security nightmare we've been going through all the time right now. So grabbing all 8... was a breeze. Just actually pretty funny to do. Selling all the candy on Black Bay unlocked the Like Candy from a Baby achievement. The achievement didn't show up on the screen though, because changing my system date and time messed things up, but it still counted. I still got it, because we were 100% the game. But we have not 100%ed it yet, because now I had to collect 7 pumpkins. The annoying part was that they were large items, meaning I had to grab one, drive back to the hideout, and repeat the process. Now this was tedious, but there really wasn't any other option. Most of them were in Greenview, so they were easy to grab, but the last 2 pumpkins were located at 306, the abandoned house in the Halloween event. Inside that house, there were also 4 creepy dolls that need to be stolen. Thankfully, those were easy, just lying around a small house. I've definitely dealt with worse. I grabbed the pumpkins quickly and sold them on Black Bay to unlock the Halloween is Here achievement, selling the dolls to unlock the creepy achievement. Once again, both achievements only appeared after I walked out onto the street. So it was time for another seasonal event, cause now it's Christmas time, baby. We're switching that date to December. Sounds exciting, right? This is the worst part of the fucking game, because the challenge here was stealing 39 Christmas presents. 39 Christmas presents. So I basically ransacked all of Greenview like the Grinch himself. During that grind, I also bought the van, which helped a lot, because once I reached Richie R Street, there were also white and orange presents. Those cannot go in your backpack. You have to carry them. With the van, you can only store 3 big items instead of 1, so it is better. And I should have bought that thing when doing the pumpkins, but hey, better late than never. And after more than an hour and a half of grinding presents, death after death, taser after taser, it was almost 5 a.m. I realized something horrible. I had missed 2 blue presents. Oh no. So I went back through every house with the blue presents trying to figure out what I missed. And I was convinced I had collected them all. And then I realized they were still sitting in my storage. Yeah, fuck my life. The moment I grabbed them, the achievement finally popped. To finally reset my PC's date back to normal though, I still had to do one last seasonal job. I went to 307, hacked my way in, and stole Santa's sleigh. And with that, boom! Time to put my system clock back to the present day. But there was still another achievement left on my main safe. I had to steal 6 big toy boxes from 307. The good part was that the guards weren't too aggressive with their patrols. The bad part was that every single toy box was a carry item, meaning I had to bring them to the van one by one. So it wasn't necessarily difficult, it was just extremely tedious. And of course, the last box decided to ruin everything, with guards suddenly patrolling like absolute maniacs. But once it all was done, it was done! And that unlocked the Toys for Greedy Boys achievement. Now, the final achievement remained. A what? To get the a what? I need to start a new game plus save file and grind my way up to $150,000 to buy the cloaking device. The only benefit of the new game plus is starting at max level with all streets unlocked. After that it's pure grinding. So I started back in Greenview, looting everything like a pirate to get decent gear as fast as possible. But then I discovered the best strategy in the game. If you drive your little ass over to the industrial street, drive behind 305 to the broken gate, you can ride your car up the broken gate and enter the area that contains the highest tier loot in the game. The same place where we stole the yellow containers earlier. I grabbed everything I could, along with like valuables worth over 5k. And when I escaped using the ramp where we got the skid loader earlier, my money jumped from 2.5k to 57k in one run! That cloaking device was suddenly very achievable. So I was thinking, let's repeat 305. Until you realize that loot really doesn't respawn in this game. Still, the runs were more profitable than anything in Greenview, but I eventually still chose to buy the hacking laptop so I could access more buildings once 305 ran dry. From there, I just plundered the entire industrial area, saving my loot instead of selling it immediately so I could sell it in bulk on Black Bay for better prices. Slowly but surely, the money kept stacking up, until eventually I finally reached $150,000, bought the cloaking device, and unlocked the A What achievement, which officially meant one thing. Thief Simulator 100% completed. This game turned me into such a good thief that I might have already stolen your urge to hit the like and subscribe button, and that playlist sitting right there! Yeah, it probably stole your attention too, but don't worry, clicking it isn't a crime. I'll be waiting.